You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Days of Our Lives fans, it's time for our early edition spoilers for December 9th through the 13th. Johnny is busted, EJ is blindsided, and looks like Clyde's doing some more kidnapping. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and as we always do on early edition day, we start with what's coming the rest of this week before we dive into what is happening next week. And hey, if you're not following us, please click subscribe. Let's start with the action on Wednesday, December 4th. So at the end of Tuesday's episode, Julie was still at Doug's graveside when Doug Williams III, that I've been calling Dougie, aka Peyton Meyer, shows up looking like the spit of his granddad. I thought it was pretty cool in those flashback scenes to use Peyton. It was very interesting. So Doug appears before Julie, and the way this spoiler was initially written, it sounded like she was seeing her husband, Doug, but this is Doug 3. I don't know what we're going to call him. You know, if they're just going to call him Doug, it's just going to be very strange to me. Stephen Olson's, Julie's brother, is sitting in Town Square paying his respects to his grandparents by the plaque, and we heard him say on Tuesday, and he'll probably reiterate on Wednesday, that diamond necklace was very tempting, but he is truly reformed, so I don't believe he stole it. And he is going to meet Leo Stark. Speaking of con men, they might have a few things in common. I am pretty sure that Doug 3 is the one that purloined that diamond necklace. I think he was in the house while they were at the funeral. And they realized that something precious has gone missing from the Horton time capsule on Wednesday, and that is the reaction to seeing the diamonds were gone. And Hope is in town. Finally, she missed the funeral, it's just weird. I don't know if Kristian Alfonso just had a shooting conflict and couldn't make it in time to film that scene. It's just very bizarre that Hope would miss her dad's funeral because Bo's fingers twitched. I don't know. It's strange. But Hope surprises Julie at the house, and Doug surprises Hope in the Horton house. She has no idea who this young guy is and what he's doing in the house. I wonder if she will also think that he looks like her dad. Julie introduces them, and young Doug also gets to meet Lucas and Sierra, and he checks out pics of his granddad, Doug, on the mantle. And I think they're going to maybe invite him to stay. We'll see. He's breaking bread and hanging out with them. Belle and Marlena are back at Casa Black, and they are sharing ice cream and chatting, and you know, Belle's still thinking about this whole thing with Shawn, and of course Shawn and Belle are both staying in Salem for a while. And that takes us to Thursday, December 5th. Xander really, really wants Stephanie to drop Phillip as a client. And at this point, of course, Xander feels like the inheritance is legitimately his, and that's even without knowing that the whole letter from Victor was forged. I mean, this is... Rerun Carlovati likes to repeat plots, but I mean, literally, this is the second time that Xander's inheritance has been attempted to be stolen via a forged document. I mean, can we not at least wait 6 months or a year or 2 years before we repeat the literal same plot? It's insane. So Shawn and Sierra show up for an emotional reunion with their mom, Hope, who heads over to the cemetery to tell her daddy, Doug, goodbye. She's devastated that she missed the funeral. I think fans are devastated that Hope missed the funeral. I've seen the reaction on Soap's social media, and people are kind of on fire about it, and I agree. Jennifer and Hope are also at the cemetery together. So I don't know if Jennifer talks to Hope before or after her kids show up, but they have a very heartfelt chat about this devastating loss. You know, it's Salem's loss. It's not just the Hortons' loss, and it is, you know, Days of Our Lives fans' loss as well. And I just wonder if at the end of one of these episodes we're going to have a more, I don't know, a little more of a tribute thing to actor Bill Hayes. We'll see. And Julie and Lucas swap family tales with new guy in town, Doug, and Jennifer joins in the conversation. Friday, December 6th, we have EJ facing Johnny, who is a little miffed that his dad decided to just up and basically run Joy out of town. And remember, he said he'd pay off her contract, but this break on the soap was a big deal for her. And Johnny doesn't think that Joy should have to pay for his mistake. Technically, EJ would be paying Joy for his mistake. I mean, realistically, all she knew was what Johnny told her, and she didn't know who he was, didn't know his wife, and didn't know, in fact, that he was wrong and his wife wasn't cheating. But it looks like Joy caves to the pressure, because on Friday, she says goodbye to Alex, but Alex is going to do something about it in the following week. Kat and Chad are off with JJ and Gabby in this plan to fool Clyde, find out what happened to Kat's mom, find out where Abby's remains are, and looks like they managed to initially elude Clyde, and hopefully they'll get the drop on him. And Paulina hangs out with Chanel and Lonnie. God, I wish Lonnie was staying, but she and Eli aren't going to stick around too long. All right, the following week, December 9th through the 13th, EJ is completely blindsided when Kate screws up his plan to send Joy packing. Meanwhile, Alex gets into it with Johnny, and they are arguing about Joy when Chanel busts them. And so Johnny may legit be busted. It depends on how much she hears. Every time Chanel overhears Johnny saying something, he just gaslights her, and she believes whatever he's saying. I'm guessing that Alex is going to confront him about basically punishing Joy for his infidelity and the way that Johnny behaved badly. And that's going to rub all against Johnny's guilty feelings, because he's wanted to tell his wife for a while. Looks like time might be up. Kat is completely devastated, and Chad is comforting her next week. So I wonder if Clyde says her mom is dead or that he is going to kill her. And Brady and Ava get so much closer next week. Not, bedroom closer, but we might finally get that kiss from the promo. We'll see. And of course, Kristen is going to be really hateful about all of this. And Clyde gets his hands on Gabby, and it looks like the others are in danger too, because that's what Clyde does. Shawn gets his job back at the Salem Police Department. Jada really needs a new detective since Rafe quit, and Eli said, I'm sticking with the FBI. Xander is heading into court to fight Phillip over Victor's estate. And I thought it was preposterous that Phillip said he was firing Xander from Titan. And it's like, just because he's filed an injunction doesn't mean that he is running things. He might think he is, but poor Xandy. Although at this point, I know he's just glad that Sarah's walking and probably can let the rest of it go if he had to. But he is going to fight, and Sarah is encouraging him and supportive of him. Meanwhile, Phillip feels guilty for lying to Stephanie. He has her doing this PR thing, but it is all on false pretenses because Vivian forged the letter. And, when it all comes out, will it mess up Stephanie's reputation as a PR professional? We'll see. The Hollywood Christmas Parade is airing Saturday, December 14th at 8 Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on the CW. And the actresses who play Marlena and Julie, Deidre Hall and Susan Seaforth Hayes, were both in the parade. So if you want to see them and other soap stars, tune in Saturday the 14th.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.